Okay, so today I'm talking about hyposensitivity. In my last video, well, for the last couple of videos now, I've been trying to address sensory issues with autism. They're taking more videos than I'd initially expected, just because it is a very large aspect of autism to discuss, and there are different kinds of sensory challenges. In the last one I was talking about sensory overload, and before that it was just a brief on the whole subject. But this one is going to be hyposensitivity. Now, for those of you who don't know, what's meant by hyposensitivity, hyposensitivity is essentially a lack of reaction to sensory stimuli. Now, if you're interested in the other video, go and check that out. And if you're interested in this one or you enjoy this one, please follow, like, leave a comment, requests or questions in the comments that you may have, subscribe to the YouTube channel and repost the video. And continuing on from what I was saying. So, right. So, a lot of the time I've come across people who, when they associate sensory difficulties with autism, they always envision or imagine the kind of hyper reactions to things, you know, like when you see in movies when it's portrayed someone with autism getting really irate, getting really angry or upset, borderline breakdown, simply because of like a texture or a sight or a sound that's really driven them over the edge unexpectedly. Now, in my last video, I'm explaining that sensory overload, it's very varied, you know. It's not just things that you touch, it's things that you hear or things that you see, and there are other kinds of senses that don't just involve a sense of touch. Now, lots of people I've met, they haven't realized that sensory difficulties in autism isn't just being hypersensitive to things, is this, being hyposensitive to things. For instance, there are cases of people with autism who harm themselves and such, but they don't feel anything, or people with autism who have like an extreme lack of, or an extremely high rather, pain tolerance, because they struggle, or their brain struggles to process sensory information to a level that they should be sensing it. So like a really strong smell, they won't smell anything. Something may be really loud and it doesn't sound that loud to them, or really quiet and the same thing. It's kind of like, I'm trying to think of an example to myself, because I have a few of these issues with myself, which I hadn't realized were sensory issues until recently. But, now for me, I have a fairly high pain tolerance. It really does depend. I've hurt myself before when roughhousing, messing around with my friends when I was a kid with my brothers, and I've just shrugged it off, and it's no big deal. When in fact, for most people, it would probably be like tears and crying or screaming, and it's been like, whatever. But sometimes because of that, people with autism, they actively seek out sensory stimuli because they want to feel something, or they need to feel soothed or relaxed or calm when everything else is overwhelming them. So, and some of these present themselves in physical actions like rocking back and forth, flapping your hands, things like stimming, because it's used to soothe them, it's used to relax them. It's a method, like subconscious method or instinctual method, to just kind of give themselves a sense of control in a situation where otherwise they feel out of control, or everything else is out of control and it's really infuriating them or annoying them or frustrating them. So, and sometimes those actions don't get associated with the sensory difficulties that come with autism, simply because it's, again, people that I've met tend to think sensory issues, alright, you mean like you don't like the feel of something, you don't like bright lights or loud sounds, you know, like a little mogwai. But it's not. It's also like we sense things every day, okay? Our senses are active constantly, right? It's like how people sometimes prefer the cold to the hot, you know, they're really sensitive to one or the other. For people with autism, when they're actively seeking stimulus and they're doing something like rocking back and forth, I've done that before instinctually, or bouncing their leg, that's something else that I do, or grasping my hands, like if I get really angry, I do this, because what I'm focusing on here is like the sense of that squeeze, you know, the tension in my hand. It's like, because I feel tense and I feel angry and perhaps like I want to lash out, this tension soothes me because it's like I can feel it physically, and it's hard to put into words, but it's kind of like almost like releasing the tension I'm feeling inside. Like, if you do this with your hand, you feel the tension as your hand curls, and you feel it release as they go back to normal. For me, in my head, it's kind of like that. I'm building up the tension intentionally, and then I'm letting it go without having an outburst or without hitting something. And that's like one way that I'll deal with that then. That's what I mean. That those two are sensory issues with autism. People with autism can either be hypersensitive or hyposensitive, or both. Yeah, depending on whatever sense is active, or what it is that irritates them, frustrates them, or vice versa, soothes them. So yeah, it's like I love headbanging to music, and it's not just because it's fun or it's the music I listen to, you know, that's the typical thing to do. It's because the action, it's a very simple action to do, you know, headbanging. I headbang and I can feel everything. I can feel my body tense, like as I move forward, and release as I move back, like the hand thing. I can feel, it feels like the music is like moving to the way I'm moving. I can feel my hair getting flipped forward and back. I can't cut my hair. I've got to have my hair long, and I will never cut it again. I did it once, I won't do it again, because I can feel everything in the back of my neck, and I hated it. But I keep my head long, partly because of drama, and you know, there's lots of character types that have long hair, especially girls. But also because if I do things like dancing or movement, I'm very, very conscious of the feeling of my hair, like the weight of it on my head and behind me. And I find it very soothing, very relaxing. And it's like if I'm headbanging, I'll flip it all the way forward and all the way back, because I love it. It's like being in a trance. Yeah, it makes me feel very comfortable in the moment. And same if I have my hair in a ponytail and it's bouncing back forth, like a high ponytail, not a low one. I can feel it bouncing back and forth, and it's addictive. I love it. It keeps me calm. It makes me happy. That's also a sensory issue, you see? So it's more complicated than just something you feel physically. It's also something you don't feel, and then you actively try to feel something to make up for it. Yeah, so you are seeking sensory stimulus. Now, I hope I've said it clearly, because sometimes my words get mixed up, but I hope that makes sense. Anyway, that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about internal sensory issues with autism. Things like, the first one that always comes to mind for me is hunger, because sometimes people don't associate that as well. But it's a very important area to discuss, and I've met plenty of people with that side of things. I don't have that issue, but I know people who do, including one of my brothers. So that's what I'm going to talk about. If you're interested in that video, then please, as I said, follow me here on TikTok, subscribe to the YouTube channel, repost the video, leave a like and a comment, you know, questions and requests, and I will get to that in no time, or reply, whichever. Anyway, until then, enjoy your day, have a great time, blah, 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 blah. There was something else on my mind that I just forgot, and I'll see you soon. Bye!